Today I want to talk about a really helpful tool that you can use in your collecting and investing hobby, whether it is cards, comic books, or another collectible. It's really important to store them properly and be able to preserve them for the long term. And I'll be talking a little bit in some other videos about ways to store different collectibles like cards or comic books with different kinds of supplies and what I use. But a really simple and inexpensive tool is what's called a hygrometer. You can find these for about $10 or less. I will include some affiliate links in the description below. If you want to buy it through that link, I would receive a small percentage of any sales made through that link if you want to support me in this channel that way. But I want to talk about what these are useful for, and then talk about also the readings it gives you, temperature and humidity. What are some ranges that you might want to shoot for? These are the most important variables to keep up with when storing your comics or trading cards. And you'll see here, so this is my office, it's 70 degrees and 55% humidity. Now I'm going to put some links below in the description of some web sources you can use that indicate their recommendations for what temperature range you should be keeping your collectibles in, and also humidity range. I'm going to give you sort of the general consensus that I've gathered from reading a variety of sources and my own experience with storing my own collection. I try to keep an ideal temperature around 68 degrees, and you'll read, anywhere up to 75 degrees Fahrenheit is okay, but cooler is better. So if you can get a room under 68, that's really going to be more ideal. I try to keep the air conditioning on so that it stays 68 as consistently as possible, or the heat throughout the year. And you can see here I'm moving up to about 71 degrees Fahrenheit. It's during the summer. It gets hot, and up here on the second level where heat rises, I can keep our bottom floor at 68 degrees, but I cannot get it lower than about this temperature on a hot summer day up here. So, and you can see down here, this is your humidity. So this is how much water is in the air. And for paper collectibles, for trading cards and comic books, you want to stay under 50% humidity. I've seen somewhere between 35 and up to 50 as being okay, and the lower the better. You do not want to go below 35% humidity, because then paper can become too dry and actually become brittle, and you can cause damage to your collectibles that way. On the opposite end of the spectrum, if you go above that 50%, you can risk warping the paper. If you have some holofoil or foil cards, they could start to bend or curl, and if your comic books or other cards absorb water, that can through the air, if there's too much humidity, that can also cause damage. If it creeps up above 50%, if you buy one of these hygrometers and you're seeing that, what should you do? You can look for a different space to store your collectibles, or you can do what I do. I have a dehumidifier that I keep in my room, and I'll do another video where I show the type of dehumidifier and other devices that I'm using in my room for storage. But it's basically a smart dehumidifier, and it will turn on when the humidity reaches a certain point that I set it to, and then it'll turn off once that humidity level has gone back down. So I have it set, I usually have it set around 45 or to 40. So if the humidity gets above that, it'll turn on and reduce that humidity. And on a hot summer day, I will tell you that the dehumidifier will heat up your room depending on the size of it. I have a small office space, and it'll start pushing the temperature up to 72 and even above that depending on the temperature outside. So on those days, I will crank up the smart sensor to like 50%, and it'll only turn on for a very short period, get it down to 50 if it's also high humidity. And if it's not so hot outside, if it's not going to be pumping the temperature up too much, then I will set it to lower and try to get as close to that 35% as possible consistently on a daily basis, and it just depends on how hot it's going to be outside and how much humidity is in the air. You may not need a dehumidifier, but these hygrometers, just to find out what the temperature is and what the humidity level is, $10 and below, they are one of the best investments you can make for your collection. You don't go spending tons of money on cards and comics if you're going to be storing them and then they're going to be getting damaged over time if you don't even know if your environment for storing them is going to be proper. So there's once you're spending a lot of money on this stuff, you really want to protect them, and you need to know what the environment is like and then what you need to do to control that environment to make sure that you can preserve them for the long term. I hope this video was helpful to you. Let me know, do you use a hygrometer? Are you going to be picking one up? What is your temperature and humidity levels like, and what do you do to control those? I will be doing another video where I show you my dehumidifier and what I recommend. I'll just say real briefly, if you're looking at a dehumidifier, make sure you get one appropriate to your room size. I have one of the, about the smallest one you can get, and I have about a 100 square foot room, and I can tell you it does pump out a lot of heat, even though it is a smaller dehumidifier. And that's one thing that I hadn't known about, is how much heat they put out. And if you have too big a dehumidifier for your space, it will increase the temperature, and you want to make sure that you're not increasing it so much that it is going to also cause concern for storing your collectibles. Hope this video was helpful to you. Like and subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss future videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.